at the FayWhat Show, we bring you interesting interviews from amazing people in our community. We celebrate the start of Queer Women's History Month with Cathy Renna from the National LGBTQ+ Task Force. I'm so excited about my next guest. You have no idea. Today, we're thrilled to have Miss Cathy Renna joining us. Cathy Renna is a longtime LGBTQ+ activist and currently serves as the communications director for the National LGBTQ Task Force. She brings a wealth of experience and passion to her work in amplifying LGBTQ+ voices and issues. Apart from being a badass from Jersey, what drives her soul is her passion for cooking, karate. She could beat some ass, and she probably had to this weekend at Winter Party. All things pop culture and her love for her family. I'm excited to dive into our conversation with the incredible Miss Cathy Renna. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
How are you, fellow Jersey girl?
Now I'm a Jersey girl. You know, I'm a New Yorker, but
you will always be a New Yorker. It's one of those things that like kind of always sticks with you, you know? And I know that Jersey is like thought of as like the armpit of the US. I say that myself, you know, but it's such a part of New York for me. Like, you know, I spent most of my time on Broadway, in the Village, by Stonewall, by Monster, all those places. I don't know shit about Jersey, really. I just know there's a lot of greenery, you know, and it's called the Garden State.
It is greener, yeah.
You know?
We live just west of Manhattan. It's like the Upper West Side of New Jersey. Ooh. I mean, so many New Yorkers have moved to New Jersey since COVID too. But even before that, I think people are realizing, oh my God, the Jersey Shore is fabulous, which it is. Asbury Park, all that.
Of course.
So I'm surrounded by New Yorkers.
And you love it.
I love it.
And so this weekend was Winter Party. You're here, right?
Yes.
Wow.
It was a lot.
It is a lot. It's always a lot. You know, I'm blessed that every year when you come down for Winter Party, I'm able to sneak you in to bed for a little bit because it's like we always have so much to freaking talk about, but you're always so damn busy, you know? Because I mean, you know, you work for a kind of a busy organization, you know?
We're busy. There's a lot going on. And it's like a roller coaster. I mean, it's really great stuff. I mean, Winter Party is I love it. This is my second one. A phenomenal gathering, just a celebration of community and diversity and music and love. And it's like who we're about. We really need it now. Like at our Creating Change conference, our theme was queer power, queer action, queer joy. We need all three of those. We ain't going to make it without.
We really are. Yeah. We really are. But, I mean, you know, so, you know, we'll talk about the thousands of sweaty boys on Miami Beach in a little bit, right? Because last year was Cathy's first year. Now it's her second year. And now she does it. She's like, yeah, you know, sweaty boys and girls. Boys. It's awesome, you know. Anyway, so we have some housekeeping to get through to first, okay? Because I thought it was so important, you know, to talk to you. You know, it's only March, and I feel like the world is going even more backwards since the last time we talked last year, you know? Last year, you sat in the same bed, you know, and we talked about next year being an election year, this year being an election year. And even though our governor here in Florida has dropped out of the presidential race, you know, but he's returned with a vengeance in other ways, you know? DeSantis passed a law that no longer allows folks to change their gender on their driver's license and will revoke licenses that are not certified. Did you get me?
Yeah, you know, this is why for me, and it's interesting, we get emails, why are you doing stuff in Florida? Why do you have an office in Florida? Why have this big, you know, fundraiser in Florida? It's because our people are here.
This is why.
This bad shit is happening constantly. So whether our field team is in Central Florida doing, you know, get out the vote work, or whether it's, you know, doing Winter Party, and a lot of people may not even know this, but a lot of the money we raise for Winter Party, we give away through the Miami Foundation to other organizations. We've given over $3 million.
Ooh,
in the last few
years. You know
years.
how much good you can do with $3 million, and that's what you do with that.
It is, and that's why we had our Creating Change conference in New Orleans. People are like, oh, don't go to the Deep South. We're like, the Deep South is where we are. It's where people are being most impacted.
Right. It's where you're needed.
So, yeah, it's where we're needed. And so, yeah, it's been really, it's been like a roller coaster. I mean, we're getting ready for, obviously, we're already working on the presidential election, all the other stuff that's happening this year. You know, we have already well over 50 anti-LGBTQ pieces of legislation happening across the country. You know, we've seen the community start to rise up around the death of this young, non-binary,
Can we talk
indigenous
about that?
child next in Oklahoma.
What a sad freaking story, Cathy.
This shouldn't have happened.
So the story that I had read was it was a non-binary child, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're young.
Native American.
Were right. They were young, and they were bullied in school, and they had some kind of altercation with somebody. They got hurt, and they went to the hospital. And a couple days later, they had passed away.
Yeah, they were being bullied for quite a while. In fact, other students. I mean, this was a young person who was pretty popular. I mean, there was a high school walkout, following their death. Other trans and non-binary and queer students have talked about not just being bullied by other students, but actually by teachers, by being misgendered, by
misnamed,
being harassed, dead named. Oklahoma is a state with a lot of anti-trans laws that have been passed, and the superintendent of schools, along with other organizations like GLAAD, HRC, and others, have written to the Department of Justice to try and get the superintendent investigated. This is a guy who appointed the woman who does Libs of TikTok, which is one of the most transphobic accounts and groups on social media, to like a library advisory board. So the hostile climate that was created, the system really failed this kid and all the other kids. Yeah. The number of hotline calls for queer kids in Oklahoma went up like 300% after this happened. I mean,
can you imagine another queer kid being scared after seeing their friend go through something like this?
Right.
Kathy?
Well, as a parent of an 18-year-old who identifies as part of the community who lives in Texas, yes. The big challenge and this really, to me, the most terrifying thing about this is that what we're now seeing are young people attacking other young people. So we are, in the last, 5 or 10 years, because of how hostile and divisive things have gotten, we're creating a generation of young people who are homophobic, transphobic, and hating. Right.
Okay, but who teaches those kids? The hateful parents are the ones who teach these kids to hate.
And politicians. I mean, the rhetoric that is coming from both the federal, local, state levels. I don't have to tell anybody here in Florida, but we see it everywhere. Even in New Jersey, you will see some individual parents stand up at a Board of Ed meeting. My wife is an elementary school teacher, and she deals with, parents who are homophobic and transphobic, and they're all spouting the same talking points. It's like this concerted effort and like kind of cultish mentality where people just take this in and they believe it to be true until it's proven otherwise. So, while there are, I think, glimmers of hope in different ways that we can look at, I said this last week at a vigil for Next that, we're seeing more and more kids coming out. Like, I asked who was over 50, right? Mm-hmm. I was the only queer kid. I thought I was the only out queer kid. But now you see, 20, 30, 40% of kids who are openly, proudly celebrating their identity, whether they're LGBTQ or queer, and you're seeing things like the new trans survey that just got released a few weeks ago, just preliminary data, but it's taking on, using the lived experiences of trans and non-binary and queer people, takes on all the misinformation and lies that has been not just fostering the climate, but helping this legislation pass. That's really, you're institutionalizing hate. That's the really dangerous thing.
It's scary shit is what it is, Cathy, I was talking to somebody the other day about you and about your whole entire crazy crew over there at the National LGBTQ Task Force, and just how we wish we could clone each and every one of you, because we need more advocates, right? We recently lost someone, right, that was so important to our community. And thank you so much for bringing me the prayer card. What a loss with Cece,
Cecilia Gentili was amazing. She had I saw her just for a minute at Crane Change in the hallway. I gave her a big hug, and then I felt terrible. Like, I found her, she had lost her badge, and I found it, and I texted her, and she texted me back because she said, you saved me a few bucks because they make you pay when you have to get a new badge. And she, she was just someone I'd known for years. I worked with in New York on the release of Trans Bodies, Trans Selves. That's when I first really got to know her. But she's extraordinary. Her life story. You just Google her, read Faltas, read her book.
Yes.
She is someone who, on her own, just as an activist, came up, was undocumented, was a sex worker, got herself citizenship, educated, was a policy director at Gay Men's Health Crisis, did a tremendous amount of work to get gender passed in New York City, the Walking Well Trans law, right? And also has done a tremendous amount of advocacy for sex workers. So when I went to her funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral,
okay,
which
take
was
that in.
Packed. I mean, I don't think Vogue has done a story about a funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral like ever, but they did that day. Interview, amazing amount of media, incredible ceremony, and really a testament to who she was, because there were literally, like, the pews were filled with people who had, it wasn't just that they knew her or knew of her and admired her. These were people whose lives she touched. Yeah. She saved lives.
She changed those lives.
Her husband said if the phone rang at 3 a.m. and it was some kid, a trans kid, who needed to go to the hospital, needed help, needed health care, she was out the door.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, that's just who she was.
She was amazing. So young, you know, like we had so many years left of her, 52, you know? Yeah. You know, we need more people like this. These are the people who live out loud for the voiceless, for the people who can't, you know? And, you know, I'm getting chills right now because it's St. Patrick's Cathedral. You know, these are beautiful, beautiful, you know, as a queer person, right? Like my wife was raised Catholic, so she like can't even walk into certain churches without getting that kind of trauma. Right? And then me, I was quite the opposite because I love the stained glass and I just love the beauty of it all, right? But then when you know what it represents and what they scream at us and the abomination that we are to them, then you don't want to walk into spaces like that, right? But they had to open up their place for Cecilia. And like, you know, and I don't think that they probably knew her background or anything like that.
There was a little controversy after. Yeah, they were, when some really radical right-wing Catholics kind of they saw the media coverage.
Of course they did.
And then St. Patrick's put out a statement. We didn't know who she was. Whatever. At the end of the day, that's not her legacy. Her legacy is that this person, this trans Latina, previously undocumented, sex worker, activist, advocate, actress, creative, writer. I mean, she was like unbelievably talented in a billion ways. Filled St. Patrick's Cathedral. That's her legacy.
Yep.
Because I want to find somebody else who can fill St. Patrick's Cathedral with so many people. They were chanting her name as they brought the coffin in. They were chanting her name as they brought it out. And it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. And I'm not super religious, but I was raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. And, you know, it's a powerful experience to kind of feel like you can reclaim that, get that back, you know, because so many of us have been so hurt by the church. So, you know,
and there were so many queer people in that place at one time, you know.
I've never seen that many, particularly trans people. And, you know, many of them, you know, grew up with a faith tradition, yearned to have a faith tradition in their lives. So, you know, to get the smack in the face after was, you know, not shocking, but surprising.
Well, Cecilia will always be in our hearts. And that's a movie that should be made right there. Okay, that's what the Amazon. Look into that.
Her one-woman show. Right,
it could be by itself.
She did a one-woman show. It was
fantastic. I know, but it could have been made into, you know, easily.
It's time.
Anyway, Google if you haven't, if you never heard of her or you just found out about her when she passed away. Google her. Okay, that is kind of an active. She was an activist that you should just say, I want to be like her. You know, if you've got the means to. You know?
I can guarantee you that on June 27th, when we have our event at the Stonewall Inn, which we, in partnership with the Imperial Court, we love, we have the Wall of Honor. If you go in the back of the Stonewall Inn in New York City, there's a big wall with a whole bunch of names on it. And one of the most gratifying things for me is to be back there and to see people Googling the names. Like, I don't know who Urvashi Vad is. Maybe I know who Matthew Shepard is. I don't know, maybe I know who Harvey Milk is, but, you know, I don't know who, you know, Betty Achebe Powell is, right? So her name will be up on that wall in June, if I have anything to say about it.
Well,
and I think I do.
And I think you do. Yeah. You know, Cathy can, like, you know, make you want to drink some water if you've got like a case of water, right? You're thirsty. You're thirsty. Trust me. Have something to drink. Let's talk about Queer the Vote. We've got to talk about Queer the Vote. I love your shirt. Thank you for getting me one. I'm going to wear it on a future episode. Yes. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We have to be out there more this year, more than ever. I mean, like, we just talked about all the shit that's going on, you know, but I feel...
Want to have a democracy or not? No, I mean, it's not an exageration.
My wife believes that civil war is around the corner. I mean, she is that person, you know, and she's not alone. And she's not alone, you know.
Our wives need to hang out.
Our wives really do need to hang out.
My wife feels the same way. It's really true. I have a colleague and a friend, Danielle Moody. She has a podcast called Woke AF, and she says this all the time, and she's right. If you want Donald Trump to be the last president of the United States, don't participate, don't vote. Because if we don't all get our stuff together and find a way to get through this, that's might be what happens. I mean, it really is that dire. The way he's talking, the way this sort of like cult that the Republican Party and his supporters have become, it's really just, it's scary. I mean, it's, I'm ready to get my dual citizenship and go to Italy.
Everybody's talking about
with
that.
my family in Italy. I'm totally eligible for that. I am, I'm one generation.
I'm 3%.
I'm like 150%
Damn
Italian.
it.
I'm going.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, it's really, it's sad. It's sad and it's scary, but if there's nothing else you do, make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you educate yourself on the issues and who to vote for. Get everybody get involved, volunteer. This is queerthevote.org is the website. You can go and sign up for alerts and get more information.
Can we buy the shirt on there also?
I don't know about
Okay,
that.
but you can get a shirt
You
up
can
there.
get all
Just
kinds of stuff on our website. Yeah. They can just find me on Instagram. I'll get you a shirt. If you're willing to wear this out and about, we'll get you a shirt.
I love it.
It's really, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is.
So, you work tirelessly. I love Kira. I love Kira Johnson.
She's the best. We have the best. I mean, I shouldn't say this because I love other executive directors, but we have the best one. She's just she's an inspiration. I think there are leaders and there are visionaries, and Kira is a visionary and a leader. Like she really inspires all of us. She trusts all of us, and we have been growing the team. I don't know if you've noticed. We've added some pretty amazing people to our team. Chris Kayashi who was with the Transgender Law Center for a decade.
Wow.
He's amazing. So we've got our field team, we've got our policy folks, we've got the Creating Change I've been going to Creating Change for, how many years has it been? 30 something?
Whoa.
Yeah, I've only missed a few.
What?
The last Creating Change in New Orleans was one of the best ever.
It looked amazing.
It was extraordinary.
You had Big Frida.
We had Big Frida, yeah. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's New Orleans. You can't not have Big Frida.
But Big Frida's amazing. Amazing. Just,
She closed out the conference, her and the Pinettes, which is a all-women second line band, which was how we did our in memoriam. Because again, you're in New Orleans. We respect the culture of the place we're going. And I was joking that we should have it there every year because that city embraced us. We had ambassadors like Mariah Moore and others that were just amazing.
Oh my God.
And, we had gone a bunch of times prior to prepare. We had our staff retreat there. We had a big kickoff reception and they were just so awesome.
Well, and that's everything that I've read about New Orleans because, Queer Eye also did their last season there as well. Right, and, no place needs that kind of money more than a place like New Orleans.
That's
right? So it's so important that you guys went there, that Queer Eye went there, that's money for them. That's money that's so needed. After Katrina, my Lord.
Well, and they have a new governor who's not as progressive as the prior one. So the rest of the state is very conservative and New Orleans is kind of like this, blue dot. And, the governor's coming for New Orleans. So we want to be there for them.
I love that.
With Queer the Vote and with everything else.
So Kira was on my show, my very first show here on the Happening Out Television Network. We sat over there at the stage and we cried.
She made you cry.
Me, her, and Myra.
She makes us cry all the time.
It's surprising that we don't cry more. I mean, sad shit happens to us.
Good.
This is 2.5 years ago that we cried, okay? And here we are crying about more stuff. Are there moments that you guys just feel slapped in the face like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, it's hard.
I know that's a hard statement, but.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, last week, I've my daughter's 18, and she was bullied in school for being LGBTQ, right? And you read about, a ninth grader, 14, 15 years old, who is beat up in the bathroom. We had a high schooler at the vigil that we did in Maplewood, New Jersey, who basically said, that could have been me. I'm non-binary. I get harassed all the time because we don't have a gender-neutral bathroom. So I have to pick which bathroom I go in. No matter what bathroom I pick,
it's going to be wrong.
I'm going to get harassed.
Yeah.
And wrong, right, for them. But also these other students, they know, and they harass this kid. That
you're giving people a reason to bully. Bullies are always going to exist, but you're giving them all the ammo.
Right. Well, and you're facilitating it.
Yeah.
You're facilitating it. You're I wouldn't say encouraging, but like
you're enabling.
Creating, I call it a permissible climate of hate. That's what I call it. We create like a permissible climate of hate.
That's awful.
But that's what it is. And it's really, you gotta do this work. I always say I don't consider what I do a job. I consider it a vocation. I've said that since I worked at GLAAD like a million years ago. And people look at me like I'm nuts. Maybe it's because I'm Catholic. I use that word, but that's what it has to feel like for it to really, I don't know, not just have an impact on the people around you, but you let it in yourself. Because you can't you can't decompartmentalize this kind of stuff.
You can't, but you also can't pretend it's not happening, Cathy. You understand? Like, again, here we are, delusional. This is what I tell you guys all the time. You know, I've been screaming from this bed for the last 2 years, from over there for the last 3 years. Vote, vote, vote. Elections are coming, blah, blah, blah. Here we are in 2024, and I still see, you know, a bunch of Trump flags, you know, and people love to take their trucks and with their Trump flag and bring it to Wilton Manors, you know, where all the gays are. I mean, these things will be happening more frequent as time goes on.
This is going to be a rough year. I've been saying that to everybody from, you know, my family to my therapist to my colleagues to anybody I work with, you know, like out in the street. You know, it's going to be a really hard year. It's going to be a roller coaster of ups and downs. I think that, you know, we have to take care of each other. We have to take care of ourselves. Yeah. But we also got to take care of business.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the part that, you know, sometimes I worry about because I think people are fatigued. Yeah. I mean, we've had to deal with this guy for, you know, how many years now?
For too fucking long.
Like, will he go to jail? You know, will he eat a cheeseburger and
and none of us believe he'll go to jail or pay a cent. Yeah. You know?
I just want to be at Trump Tower when they take those letters down and Letitia James gets rid of them. Sells off the building. I will be there for that.
By piece. Right. You know, we were talking about roller coaster rides, and that's kind of how our worlds go, you know, because as many great things as we get to do, just like we said at the beginning of our interview, we've got to deal with all the bad shit too, you know. It's no secret to you folks at home that my favorite gala of the year is the Task Force Gala, right? And I go to all the galas, right? But I do. But, you know, this year's, you know, National LGBTQ Task Force Dinner, it's just one of those things that like excites people. It gets people excited. Yeah. People look forward to it. Yeah. The moment that the date is released, other organizations change their freaking dates of stuff. Okay, that's how important it is, you know. So last year we had Angelique, who was just amazing. Dominique. Angelique. Who was I thinking of? I was thinking of somebody else. Dominique.
I'm telling her.
Don't tell her. She was so amazing. I loved her so much.
Mother is fabulous.
Oh my God. Listen.
Mother.
Dominique on Pose, you know, I know she was a lot of your favorite actress on there because she was just that powerful, right? You know, Electra.
Extravaganza.
And then, you know, she was at the Task Force Gala and I told Cathy, you have one job. I know you have 80,000 things to do right now, but I need to meet her, right?
You didn't really need me. She is such an open-hearted person. I mean, I've met her several times before, and I've really been blessed to know, like, most of the cast of Pose at this point. Like Jason Rodriguez was at Creating Change. He did Vogue classes. He was a judge at our ball. And he had such a good time at the conference in general. Like DeLon Burnside has been at Creating Change and he ended up being the host at the gala because he and Kira have become very close friends, which I absolutely love. They're all cheating on me, but it's okay. But she is special. I mean, if you read interviews or you look into her background, you know, she struggled with agoraphobia. You know, it's interesting how these folks who are so public and big celebrities and actors and comedians, they often grapple with a tremendous amount of anxiety. Yeah. And she was so anxious prior to the gala. And when she got there, she left like floating on, exhausted, but floating on air.
She was enamored by the love.
She didn't make it to the after party because she was absolutely exhausted. But it was such a great experience. And I saw her not that long after at the Stonewall Inn does the Brick Awards. It was the first event they've ever done like that. It was fantastic. And they honored her. She used to work there, actually. I mean, she's like done everything. But she used to work at the Stonewall Inn in the 80s before she became famous when she was like part of the ball scene, you know? And she said that gala was just.
And this woman
fabulous.
goes to so many things, you know, like after that, I really started stalking her because, you know, I was able to, me and my wife sat with her and Max Fenning and her boyfriend. And like, they were just like talking and asking those questions and talking to us like we were friends forever. Like,
she's
like the quality of person that she is. But one thing that she did mention was that she was told by friends and family, don't go to Florida. It's not safe for trans people to go to Florida. Okay? She said that out open. And that she's like, I can't. I have to be there for the task force. I have to be there for my people. And that she was so glad that she didn't let that fear overtake her. She also had a big bodyguard boyfriend that was not going to let anything happen to her.
So that's Edwin.
He's adorable.
Her husband.
He's adorable.
He is wonderful. I told her she needs to remake The Bodyguard with a happy ending and a train twist. That would be fantastic.
I love that. And I'm telling you, I know she hasn't. I told her something similar, so you know that it's on her brain. She needs to do that.
That would be awesome. That would be fantastic.
I would love that. I would watch that.
But she's, one of these people, and these are the kind of people that, for me, it's very important that that's our values at the task force. That's who we are. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Kira or if you're just someone who's at the gala. Or, some college student who's volunteering, actually, backstage. She was, like, hanging out with volunteers and stuff. She didn't say no to anything. And when she looks at you, she looks right in your eye, and she's not nobody else in the world. She's just paying attention to you, which is, we don't even experience that with,
heart. That's, you don't.
Yeah, she's incredible. I introduced her
to... I know local celebrities that are assholes. I don't talk to most people.
Right.
I mean,
you have no idea who I think I am.
This is Dominique. I mean, come on.
Yeah. She was at the Stonewall thing. I introduced her to some of the young trans folks from Gender Cool. They were also being honored as an organization. And I told her, I said, cover your ears as we get in there. And she said, why? I said, because they are going to scream. And she didn't just like go take a picture of the red carpet. She spent like 20 minutes talking to each and every kid.
God, that is so sweet.
But it means a lot.
Yes.
It was the same thing at Creating Change. Jason spent so much time just hanging out with people.
Yeah.
You
made that kid's life. You made that kid maybe think that they have an opportunity to do more.
That's right.
Right? God, we all know that, supported kids grow up to supported adults that can do anything.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's really moving to see folks like that. And
okay, so tell me who's going to be there this year. Tell me.
So we don't
tell
actually.
Me something.
I don't really have a whole.
Come
lot
on,
to
you
tell
know something, Cathy. I'll show you my left boob.
No, not enough. Karen's watching.
Karen is like, are you crazy?
Cover up.
Karen, you tell me.
What I can tell you is that we have some very exciting things in the works.
Okay.
We just survived Winter Party.
I know.
Next week,
I know. I
think you got to start planning the gala now.
I know. And today's Monday. You still have tomorrow. Your winter party ends tomorrow. Oh my God. Do you get a day off after?
We're going to Cabo for a week. Very exciting. We were supposed to go a few years ago, and I tested positive for COVID. On my birthday, it was like, I wasn't even sick. It was so depressing. So we rebooked it. Actually, we're going to go to Cabo. I've never been to Mexico. I'm super excited.
I love that.
For a week.
Do you know Spanish?
Sí, señorita.
Do you know?
I'm fluent in Italian, so I just...
That's not the same.
I know it's not the same.
Listen, I went to Italy, and I was in Italy for like 18 days thinking, I know Spanish. I can get over.
Yeah. I took 5 years of Spanish in high school and French, so...
But you don't need a lot. You need, ¿a dónde está el baño?
¿Dónde está el baño?
You know what that is, okay? Dame tequila.
Dame tequila.
Right?
See, how do you say pineapple? Because that's what Karen drinks.
Okay, but now you have to be very careful with this word,
tequila con...
Piña.
Piña.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be very, you have to say, okay.
One N is not good. Two N's is
no, because, okay, is a pasta. Okay, for Latinos, if you add a G, it's a penis.
That's right. Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay, so you have to make sure you go.
Very, very mindful of
Piña.
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 There's a tilde.
Okay, not pinga. Piña. Because they might bring you a penis, so just be aware of that.
Yeah, she won't.
You know what I
She
mean?
won't want that in
no,
her
I know,
tequila.
and I wouldn't want that in my tequila. I mean, you know what I mean. Sombrero is your hat, right?
Yeah, I know that.
La playa.
Sí, vamos a la playa.
Vamos a la playa.
It was actually a song in Italy. Very popular. Vamos a la playa. Anyway,
so I was about to ask you about your family and your pets and stuff like that. Like, tell me about your pets. Pet. You only have a cat.
Yeah, he would eat anything else that we brought in the house that was living. He's okay with people, and even small children. But
how old is he?
He's a rescue, so He was a cat when we got him, but he's probably like 9 or 10 now. I don't know.
And he runs your house.
His name is Winston, Sir Winston. Yes.
Sir Winston Churchill?
Yes. Actually, Winston is John Lennon's middle name.
Oh, I love it.
But he's starting to look like Winston Churchill because I kind of feed him. He eats everything. It's really, Winston is a special cat. I think he was like abused when he was younger, but he's beautiful. And I always joke his best quality is that I'm not allergic to him. I'm super allergic to cats, but he's
short-haired.
He's either Russian blue or a chartreuse or one of those. There are only a few breeds that don't
that
like,
you're not. Yeah.
set off my asthma. But yeah,
that was lucky for both of you to be able to have a cat with your allergies like that. That's cool.
Yeah, we can't have dogs in our building, so
move. Cathy, what's your guilty pleasure? Like I sit and I just watch old Drag Race, or I'll watch Drag Race from another country and just like, just veg. What's your guilty pleasure?
There are so many. One of the things that I do adore about my wife, because otherwise it would make life very difficult, is we both love horror movies. I mean, not the really, really bad ones, but like Silence of the Lambs and all that kind of stuff, and thrillers and serial killer movies and true crime. So yeah, I mean, popcorn on the couch. That's a perfect Sunday after. He's like usually in between us. He's a pain in the ass, but yeah, that's our that, or I don't know, day at the beach. Like, see, here's the thing. That's what we were saying before. Like, take care of yourself, take care of others. Like, it's about having a supportive community around you. It's about creating space for the things you love, whether it's a good meal, whether it's a walk in the park, whether it's going to, like you said, going to karate class, right? Mm-hmm. That is so healing for me. Mm. Not just because it's good exercise.
What belt are you?
Lord knows I need that brown.
Girl.
Black belt by 60.
Girl.
Which is not for another year and a half.
Damn it. So then when I was being moved around by all those gays boys on the beach, I could have just said, Cathy, help! And you could have.
I can help you out. Yeah, this year I can help you out. Yeah.
How long have you been practicing?
So I took it a long time ago when I was in college. And then after COVID, I started to get back into it. And I found this amazing dojo, 20 minutes from our house.
Like Cobra Khan?
No.
Cobra Kai?
We are Miyagi-Do.
Oh, okay. You're Team Miyagi-Do.
We are Miyagi-Do. We are old school. We are, self-defense only. The best fight you can have is the one that you avoid, kind of thing. Really old-fashioned, stripped down, and all these guys are Latino guys from the Bronx, starting with our sensei, Luis. And it's really like a family. It's really lovely. And they just took me in, and it came back I don't know if it's like muscle memory or what, but I really enjoy it, both mentally, physically, spiritually, really. It may sound a little grandiose to say that,
really.
but that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
And so I've actually been very bad at not going because I've been really busy with creating change and this. So,
but
once I get back, I practice at home, but it's not the same thing when sensei's behind you.
Yeah.
Fix your leg.
I love that though. I love that awesome. You got back into that, we have hobbies that maybe we started years ago and it was maybe it wasn't the right time for it. It
wasn't. No, it's interesting as a I was in college, but as a grown up, because I think a lot of us are older and it's like tennis. You can do it your whole life. You just do a little, I'm not jumping in the air.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I take you out at the knees.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you ever flip Karen over just for fun?
Karen and I do.
Does she ever wash dishes and you go, wah?
Karen's more of a CrossFit person. Karen's not as much of a,
CrossFit's a cult. Ooh, don't tell her that. Sorry.
Well, we haven't really done that in a while, but yeah. She's
also
those boxes
very
and
athletic,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jumping on the boxes. Yeah, we did it for a while. I didn't enjoy it.
It seems
karate's more. I don't know. I can't meditate because, as you can imagine, I'm hyper. There's no way. I can barely sit still.
But you kind of do karate like yoga, kind of the breathing, the techniques, being in. Yeah. Here's my biggest problem most of the time is just being in right now, right? I'm always I should be doing something else. Did I forget to do this? Did I forget to do that? Shit, I didn't send that email, blah, blah, blah. Did I forget? Oh my God, I didn't incorporate that person. I really want to help that person. When it comes to that time, it has to be just where your feet are at. Wherever you're planted, that's what you're doing.
So I'm not joking about Miyagi-Do. So I take Okinawan Goju-Ryu karate, which is, Miyagi, the name Miyagi, that's the man who originated this style of karate. They didn't get it from nowhere for the movie. and it is sort of wax on, wax off, like all that crazy stuff. But there is one kata that is done very slowly, is all about breathing, all about your presence, all about tightening your muscles in your core. Right. Exactly. So like if somebody comes up to me while I'm doing that kata and they go boom, I don't barely feel it because of how you're right. And you do it so slowly and you breathe. And at the end of it, like the inside of my hand is completely red, right? From gripping. But you're so calm. We do it at the end of class because it's what, we stretch and then we do that. And then it's like, oh, okay. I go home now and take a hot bath because I'm old.
So boys out there, okay, next year for Winter Party, or if you're at Task Force Gala and you see little ass Cathy and you're like, that girl can't do shit to me, you better think twice about it.
I'll be security on the red carpet.
You better think twice about it. So Winter Party was this weekend, like we said, and if you missed it this year, put it on your calendar for next year because it is just an incredible time. The kickoff to Task Force Gala will be in Broward and in Dade this year. I love that you kids do that, just because, I mean, people come from all over.
All over. It's a national gala.
So Task Force Gala is going to be in October, right?
Yep.
Right. And and make sure that you follow National LGBT Task Force at what is it?
We're at the Task Force on Instagram. We're National LGBT Task Force on Facebook, and we're at the Task Force on X, formerly known as Twitter, for now.
Yeah, I know.
Lots of people are leaving.
I got off because I couldn't. But again, sign up for the newsletter so you can get their email blast so you can know what's going on, And then I don't want to get text later on. I didn't know it was Winter Party. Okay. You would know.
Here's the thing. So this is what I love about the task force. So whether you're talking about Creating Change, which is our big conference, which is going to be in Vegas next year.
Yes, Sin City.
Can't wait.
Spearmint Rhino.
January 25th. Or Winter Party, if you volunteer, because like we try to make things super accessible in every way, but one of the issues for accessibility is financial, right? Yeah. Not everybody can afford to come to a gala. Not everybody can't, afford VIP tickets for Winter Party.
Yeah.
If you come and you volunteer, you get access to these events.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you do a certain amount of hours of volunteering, and it's not that much, to be totally honest with you, you get to come to the beach party, which is one of the most awesome queer events I've ever been to, and I'm old and I've been doing this a long time. It's really fabulous. And same with Creating Change. Students that want to come, folks who just don't have the finances. Vegas is going to be awesome because the hotels there are not expensive at all because they want you to gamble your money.
Yeah.
And the flights are never that much. So we're really hoping to have, a really big group at Creating Change and, Winter Party as well.
Yeah. And it's going to be amazing because you're amazing, okay? And your group is amazing. No, you guys just kick ass. They really do.
I do love the task force, too.
I mean, yeah. Cathy, Renna, thank you so much for being on the FayWhat Show. I adore you. The communications director for the National LGBTQ Task Force. Make sure that you follow her on all social media, okay? Follow the task force as well. Follow Winter Party. Again, follow all these events, okay? To be in the know. And again, I don't want to hear you the day after say, I didn't know. And you see that all the boys hooked up with all these hot, luscious hotties on the beach and you weren't there. All right? All right. Thank you very much, Miss Cathy Renna. I adore you. You know that I love you.
Love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And Karen, I love you too. All right. Everybody back at home. We'll be right back.